Telling stories is their default mode. And when I ask them how they learned their storytelling skills, not only do they have a scant idea, but some are unaware they share stories at all. These people interest me because they might provide insight into how they acquire a skill, like storytelling, without formal learning. I remember watching a documentary recently featuring the legendary music producer Rick Rubin in conversation with Paul McCartney, McCartney 3, 2, 1. Several times, Rubin asked McCartney how he learned certain things, and McCartney was sometimes at a loss to explain. McCartney is famous for not being able to read or write music. This inability to read or write music suggests that Paul learned his skills differently from most. So I went searching for hints on how Paul acquired his musical prowess. Paul McCartney first learned songs and music by listening to his father play the piano. But on special occasions, like New Year's Eve, they would get their relatives around for sing-songs and have tremendous fun. Norman, 2016. Paul's dad wanted to school him properly in piano, but Paul didn't like his teacher, too old and smelled funny, so that was the end of Paul's formal music education. Norman, 2016. So from the start of Paul's life, he heard lots of music, sang songs, and even harmonized with his younger brother Mike. He was immersed in music and learned the sounds, rhythms, tones, and melodies intuitively. Paul also absorbed his father's love of words. As McCartney says, as a boy, I did not realize that I was absorbing my father's love of words and phrases, but this, I believe, was the start of it all for me. McCartney, 2021. McCartney devoured as many words as he could to the point where he could play with them, toss them in the air and see what magic happens. McCartney, 2021. When McCartney met John Lennon and formed their first band, his musical experience was already developing. McCartney and Lennon were pushed into writing their own songs because if the band before them on a bill played a cover they were planning to play, they would have to drop it. And because McCartney didn't know music theory or even how to write music, when he created a new song, he had to memorize it by singing it early and often. Paul was immersed in songs and music from birth. Everyone around him enjoyed music and singing. Someone he respected, Dad, showed him informally how to play the piano. Paul imitated the songs he liked as covers. So what have we learned that might apply to acquiring storytelling skills? Paul McCartney, the biography. Enjoyed this story, thanks Sean Callahan. By this time, I had taken hundreds of workshops that were filled with stories and anecdotes that helped people learn. Like you suggest, I did not learn it formally. I think we all learnt storytelling by immersion and then we learnt a less effective way to communicate, called business speak. Tricks and tips to help us tap back into what we always knew are useful. Patterns to get us started, like, at our company we believe in integrity, that's an assertion. For example, last month,